first in the house. Oh, the comments faded away. There it goes. This is a fun game. We played this before on our live Two Truths and a Lie. So while we give it a minute or two, I gotta remember the camera's here. While we give it a minute or two for people to come in, how did the live work for you? Two Truths and a Lie. You say it was fun. It turned out okay. I've wanted to do this for several years, but honestly, I have quite a hard time coming up with prompts. And please let me know. Can you hear me okay? We are live streaming off of my tablet, which is a first. I wanted to be able to read the screen better compared to my tiny little phone, and I do have to click live chat down here. Audio and video is good. Thank you. It went good. We had 10 sets before we started. Yeah, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. It's 80 degrees out here. I'm sweating my freaking butt off. So, it's one of those days where why sweat and dirty a shirt? Just makes you have to go to the laundromat quicker. And that's all I'll mention about that for now. Some of you may know where I'm at, but that might come in handy later on. So I see 4 people in chat tonight. Nancy, Gypsy Official, Gypsy and Vanilla Gorilla, anybody else here? Let's see. Give it one more minute or so. I kind of uploaded this a little bit later because I was struggling to get all the logistics figured out for it. But hopefully we could have a fun game night tonight. As usual, I have it so you need to be subscribed to the channel for at least 1 minute. So if you're new here, we do live streams every Thursday, and we play some kind of game. We've done card nights, we've done Pictionary. This is our first time playing Two Truths and a Lie. I see Linda Barker coming in. Welcome in, Linda. Nice to see you. So, with that, we got 3 in the house in chat here. I see 4 are watching. So we will get the show on the road. We only have an hour, and then we will be rating Travel Around Susie. So if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. That way you can play along. And stick around as we will be doing trivia later tonight. I see 19 in the house. Also, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Here we go. 2 truths and a lie. We have 17 rounds to play over the next hour. So, the first round repeats a short that I uploaded. Some of you might have saw it earlier. I made 3 statements, and these were what they were. 1, I once meditated with the Dalai Lama during a live virtual session. 2, I've written and published multiple memoirs by the age of 30. And 3, I've been to 30 states. Which one is the lie? Does anybody know? I once meditated with the Dalai Lama during a live virtual session. I've written and published multiple memoirs before the age of 30. And I've been to 30 states. Which of those 3 statements is the lie? 2 truths, 1 lie. I see. Oh, the comments disappear. I hate that. Gypsy and Vanilla Gorilla's the first coming in. They're saying 1. You didn't meditate with the Dalai Lama. Nancy Drew, she's backing him up. She's going, you know what? I also think that 1 is the lie. What do you think? Linda thinks number 3. She doesn't think I've been to 30 states. I once meditated with the Dalai Lama during a live virtual session. I've written and published multiple memoirs before the age of 30, and I've been to 30 states. We got 12 in the house. Make sure to like, subscribe so you can play along, and drop what you think is the lie down in the comments. Without further ado, I'm going to keep it moving here. The first round, drum roll please, the lie. One person got it correct. That one person would be Linda Barker. Says he went through 30 states on his way to Arizona. It can feel like it. And I see Nancy saying 2 is my next choice. I would change if possible. So, it wasn't 1. It wasn't 2. Number 3 was the lie. So, starting off, the first one. I once meditated with the Dalai Lama during a live virtual session. I was a member, technically I probably still am, I was a member of the National Society of Leadership and Success. And what they do is they bring a lot of guest speakers on their platform, and they have even presidents. Like Barack Obama is someone who I actually got to attend a guest speaking of. So they bring these celebrities up, these presidents, and these people that just have made a big impact in the world, or, you know, have been in successful leadership places, positions is the word I'm looking for. So, like I said, we've seen Barack Obama. Another one was, God, I'm forgetting his name right now. Terry Woods. He's on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I got to see a guest speaking of him, and all of these guest speakings, as members of the National Society of Leadership and Success, they pick us randomly to ask a question. So when I saw the Dalai Lama was going to be a guest speaker, I had to attend, because how often do you get a chance to ask a question? Unfortunately, I was not chosen to ask a question during that guest presentation. But after the hour wrapped up, we spent, I think it was 5 or 10 minutes, a short meditation session through the online website, and the Dalai Lama himself ran it. So that is definitely one of the coolest experiences. Honestly, outside of that, I haven't, I don't know how many were on with me. That's a good question. This was about, I'm trying to think. I think I was in the bus, so this was probably about 4 years ago. I'd say probably 100 to 200 people were in attendance. Because it was kind of like Zoom is how their website was set up, but you mainly just would see whoever's speaking. So it would be the Dalai Lama, or they'd randomly pick us, and if I was picked, I would be brought up on camera, ask my question, etc. So I'd say probably about 100 or 200. And yeah, that website, I got a certificate and stuff technically, and I get these discounts. I don't know. Lots of people swear by it. I wasn't the biggest fan, but they do have those guest presentations, and it's pretty freaking cool, because it leads to stuff like that, and whoever would have thought I'd have an opportunity to meditate with the Dalai Lama. It's pretty special. Number 2 statement. I've published multiple memoirs before the age of 30. So, I am currently 26, soon to be 27. We published Discomfort, The Key to Your Best Life 4 years ago now, 3.5, technically. But we published that, and then we published the sequel. And that was in September that I published it. So 2 memoirs, pretty decent size. I mean, that's double the size of the first book. But 2 memoirs before the age of 30. And I'm working on a 3rd book for this year. And that brings us to the lie. The lie that Linda called me out on. I have not been to 30 states. I've actually been, drum roll, to 29. I had to go out and count my map to double check this because I thought I had been to 30. When I started in Michigan after I'm 25, which the Gypsy and Vanilla Gorilla commented about, we had 26 at the time. 26 years old, 26 states. And I said, okay, we need to change that. We need to up it a little bit because I'm going to be turning 27. Drove through. I only did 2 new states during my travels from Michigan to Arizona. So, I am at 29. I was at 27. I'm at 29 now. That's what it was. So, yeah, I thought I was at 30. Come to find out, no, I'm not. So, I see we have 5 in the house. If you haven't already, make sure you leave that like and subscribe if you're new here. We do these every week, and you have to be subscribed to the channel for at least 1 minute to be able to comment. That helps make it so bots and spam and inappropriate message, that stuff doesn't happen in chat as often. Stuff like that. You forgot a state, I bet. Nope, I double, triple checked everything. Pretty much it's every state from the West Coast over to Michigan, except for Washington, Oregon, Oregon. Arkansas is another one I haven't been to. Yeah. Outside of that, every state from the West Coast, north to south, all the way over to Michigan, and Florida, I've been to. But once you get to, like, Ohio area, everything to the east of that, I haven't been to any of those. So, 29 states so far. Not too shabby. Round 2. Let's see if Linda can continue her streak. Statement 1. I have celebrated New Year's in 3 different countries in 3 consecutive years. 2. I've been to 10 countries in 1 year. And 3. I've driven every mile of Route 66. I have been to Indiana. I have been to that one. So that's round 2. I celebrated New Year's in 3 different countries in 3 consecutive years. I've been to 10 countries in 1 year. Or 3, I've driven every mile of Route 66. Gypsy and Vanilla Gorilla coming in and saying, I'm thinking 1. 1, I'm sticking with it. And I see Linda coming in, and she's going, I think it's number 3 again. Nancy also coming in and saying, I agree this time with you, Linda. You were right the first time. I'm going to follow your lead. Number 3 is the lie. We have 7 people in the house. Anybody else got any guesses? I've celebrated New Year's in 3 different countries in 3 consecutive years. I've been to 10 countries in 1 year, and I've driven every mile of Route 66. Let me know. We got 7 in the house. I'll give you guys a second if anyone wants to type in another number before I do the reveal. The Gypsy official coming in saying number 3. I'm following the lead of Linda as well. So with that, I see 4 in the house, and we've had 4 comments. The lie out of that one is also number 3. The New Year's in 3 different countries in 3 consecutive years. This year, we'll work backwards. This year, we celebrated it in the United States. The year before that, we celebrated in Peru. And the year before that, we celebrated in Germany. 3 different countries in 3 consecutive years. 10 countries in 1 year. That's where she trusts Linda more than me. Hey, you are pretty good at trivia, so we'll see how good you do with 2 truths and a lie. Now, 10 countries in 1 year, that falls during that time frame. We had Canada, Europe, which was like 5 different countries, I think, right out the gate. We had Kenya, Tanzania, and we wrapped it up with Peru. So we did end up doing 10 different countries in 1 year. All those trips were within 1 calendar year. As for keyword, driven every mile of Route 66, I have not. I've crossed it off my bucket list because I've kind of done the entire route twice. What I mean by that is the first vacation I ever went on that included a flight was where my dad's side of the family flew us out to Las Vegas. From there, we rented a vehicle and we traveled down to Palmsdale, California. Part of that is on Route 66. From there, we did end up traveling to the Santa Monica Pier, but we did not take Route 66 from Victorville, California to the Santa Monica Pier. We took a different route because Palmsdale is a little more to the west. So, in all, I've traveled on pretty much the entire route, whether it's new or the old original road. I've done it twice, and the only stretch I haven't done is that Victorville from Santa Monica Pier, even though I've been to the pier itself. So that's about 60 miles that I haven't done. But also back then, my dad drove us from Vegas to Bakersfield. My dad drove us from Vegas to Palmsdale to Santa Monica Pier. I didn't do the driving. I was a young teenager at that time. So I personally have not driven every mile of Route 66. So Linda, 2 for 2. She's in the lead. Can someone dethrone her? We have 8 in the house. Make sure you like and subscribe if you want to play along. Round 3 to see if Linda can get this. I wish Eric was here for this one, because this is pretty big. Statement 1. The first home I ever owned was a small school bus. 2. I've found a treasure from There's Treasure Inside. Or 3. I quit a stable career with free housing to live full-time on the road. Lewis Clark, because now YouTube changed it. But I'm sure Rebecca's there too. Welcome in. I'm curious to see what you think is a lie in these situations. We are currently on round 3. Nancy is saying number 2. The first home I ever owned was a small school bus. I found a treasure from There's Treasure Inside. Or 3. I quit a stable career with free housing to live full-time on the road. Which one of those is the lie? The first home I ever owned was a small school bus. The second, I have found a treasure from There's Treasure Inside. Or 3, I quit a stable career with free housing to live full-time on the road. This is a fun game because those have been following me a while may know the answers. Some are going to be easier, some are going to be more difficult. But also, if you're new here, this is a great way to learn about me and the channel. Because I have to admit, when I was making this game, a lot of the truths, basically, like the first round where I meditated with the Dalai Lama, that is crazy. That's something that you probably don't know if you're new. Like, it shows you a glimpse of what I share on this channel and the experiences I try to capture. So I see Nancy's coming in. First one this time. She's saying it's 2. I know you haven't found a treasure. You'd be sharing it with me if you did. We got Gypsy and Vanilla Gorilla coming in number 3. They don't think I quit a stable career with free housing to live full-time on the road. Linda Barker is saying 1. The first home I ever owned was not a small school bus. Scrolling. I hate how it jumps away. Lewis Clark is saying 2. I'm agreeing with Nancy on here. You didn't find a treasure. Otherwise, you'd be funding my honeymoon and all that fun stuff. And I do want to take a moment. I see Nancy's talking about I didn't see a puppy picture on Kobe's community page. I didn't either. So Lewis says it's in there. I'll definitely have to go check that out myself. Oh, I hate how often this closes. We're going to pick this up here, because my back's hurting from leaning forward. It's weird. The tablet camera's on the side instead of up top. So, we had one more. Where did it go? The Gypsy official is saying number 2 as well. You didn't find the treasure. The lie in this case is number 2. I unfortunately have not yet found a treasure to There's Treasure Inside. I've found some life treasures. It's so weird that the camera's down here. I found some life treasures, but I definitely have not found the treasures from There's Treasures Inside. I see She-Devil Adventures coming in. Welcome in to our 2 Truths and a Lie. And just a reminder, we will be rating Travel Around Susie after this, who will be doing trivia. So if you're new here, don't forget to leave that like, subscribe so you can play along, and stay tuned as we have a fun-filled night with a bunch of different games. So, round 3, the first home I ever owned was in fact a small school bus. And the reason I considered that truly to be my first home is because while my nomadic adventures started with a caravan, at the time I had an apartment. I was paying $300 a month for an apartment, and I kept it even though I was away for 3 months. The 3 months was just a little trial experience. I wanted to do Route 66 and try the nomad experience. So that's kind of how that started. I never planned on being a full-time nomad or anything like that until I fell in love with it, with the van, bought the school bus, got rid of my apartment, and then lived full-time on the road in the bus. So, yes, my first home that I owned outright was a small school bus. Well, I knew you found treasure, and I wasn't sure if you were paid at the college. I did figure you had free living there. Yep, and that's the other statement that was true in this case. I quit a stable career with free housing to live full-time on the road. So, to share some numbers behind the scenes, I think for the very first time, I got free housing, I got free laundry, free water, free electricity, free garbage disposal, etc. with my job at the college. On top of that, I did get paid about $40,000 a year. Not too shabby. And you got a bunch of benefits too, like my insurance was phenomenal. After paying $1,500, you basically everything was covered medically. I got like $30,000 worth of medical stuff done. Outside of that, you get $3,000 worth of dental work done every single year. So I did get $9,000 worth of dental work done. Some of that was getting root canals. Some of it was getting just a general teeth cleaning, but $3,000 of dental work. And then, on top of all of that, you also got one free pair of eyeglasses every year. So that's where a lot of the benefits from too. Travel around soon. Welcome into Two Truths and a Lie. We are warming everybody up for your trivia night, and I hope you're ready for some trouble. Lewis is saying, I need warmer weather. Going to be 17 degrees Fahrenheit tonight. It is about 80 degrees here, so it's probably going to be about high 40s, low 50s tonight here. That's great, and you saved all your money, I hope, other than the RV and the drone. Yes and no. We are going to be making a video later on, deeper in depth on this, because quite frankly, I've been seeing a lot of content creators that, whether you're living in a typical home or whether you're living on the road, I've been seeing people where it's like, as a single young adult or whatever, you have to be making $107,000 a year to survive nowadays. To live on the road, you got to be making $6,000 a month to pay for your bills and expenses, and that's not super realistic. I always hear those numbers and I go, where the hell are you guys pulling those numbers from? So I'm going to share some behind the scenes of like what my cross-country trip came from. So as for me saving all my money outside of the RV, the drone, there was a lot of stuff that I paid for behind the scenes. Kenya, that was a $10,000 trip by itself. Europe, I think, was 6 or 7. Peru was about 3,000, probably 3 to 4, give or take. The camper was quite a penny. So lots of stuff adds up. And then you got to remember too that I'm still unemployed technically. I'm trying to get a seasonal job for campgrounds this season, upcoming season. So between July 1st and now, the only money I've had coming in is from like selling my memoirs, my photography, doing YouTube, super chats, stuff like that. And then in some cases, out of 7 months, I think 2 of them I was able to do Walmart delivery. So a lot of my saved money was used to transition. I saw a QQQ, so I want to pull this up. Did you own the Caravan? Yeah, I owned it outright. I paid $500 for it, and then I had to fix a lot of it up. So, yeah, technicality, you can say the Dodge Caravan was my first home, but to me, it wasn't, because I wasn't living out of it. I was just taking a road trip, and you happen to be able to sleep in the back of it, because back then I didn't have Rocky. And like I said, it wasn't to be a nomad or anything like that. It was literally just to travel Route 66 and to save money because I didn't want to pay for a hotel every night. So, yeah, I really don't consider that my home. So, looking over here. Oh, by the way, I got a new phone. That's what I'm looking at. That has all of my pairings for tonight's game night. New phone. It's an S25 Plus. So, that's exciting. Definitely get to put that to use since my old phone's a piece of junk now. Round 4. I'm going to put this back down because it's getting hard to hold it. I'll deal with my back. I'll just try to lean back here and give my back support. these boots suck for back support. Really, camper in general sucks for back support, and I have a bad back, but whatever. Round 4. If this would stay up. Let me see this. There. Maybe. I don't have a phone case on here, and I don't want my phone to slide and break. Round 4. I once planned a trip entirely by flipping a coin. I once paid $1,500 for 3 months with a life coach. Or 3. Everything I'm doing now started as a just for fun idea. I once planned a trip entirely by flipping a coin. I once paid $1,500 for 3 months with a life coach. And everything I'm doing started as a just for fun idea. What do you think is the lie? I see Linda saying number 2 is the lie. Nancy is saying number 3. Gypsy is agreeing with Linda and saying number 2. Lewis is saying, I don't know, so I'm just going to choose number 1. Wide range of options here. We do have 11 in the house, so if you're new here, we do this every Thursday. Make sure you subscribe, though. Only people who have subscribed for at least a minute can comment. That helps spot, like bots, spam, etc., not to be in chat, as well as my moderators. So, big shout out to them. I see... I hate how these disappear when you're on mobile. Travel Around Susie is saying number 2. She Devil Adventures, number 2. Gypsy Official, I missed the questions. So this round, 1. My tablet's going to fall. There we go. 1. I once planned a trip entirely by flipping a coin. 2. I once paid $1,500 for 3 months with a life coach. Or 3. Everything I'm doing now started as a just for fun idea. Which of those 3 statements is the lie? Give you a moment. I once planned a trip entirely by flipping a coin. She's saying number 2. I once paid $1,500 for 3 months with a life coach. Or 3. Everything I'm doing now started as a just for fun idea. Here we go. I'm not going to release the lie. Instead, I'll tell you one of the truths. One of the truths is everything I'm doing right now started as a just for fun idea. Number 3 is a truth. From my photography to the YouTube channel to I only wanted to travel Route 66. I didn't know about nomads. I didn't want to be a nomad. So it was all just for fun. So that leaves 1 or 2. Drum roll, please. Drop some drums down in the comments. The lie in this round is number 1. I once planned a trip entirely by flipping a coin. That is a lie. I will admit it is something I've always wanted to do, and I think it would be a fun video, but I have not done it yet. The logistics behind it, you think it's straightforward. I like to complicate it, so I've never done it. What I did do, and many of you might be thinking about, is my trip to Kenya was on a wheel. I took 10 trips, and out of all 10 trips, it was all over the world. Basically, I had only been to North America and Europe, so I wanted a different continent. So we had Africa, like Egypt and Kenya. We had Thailand and Japan. We had Australia. We had 10 different trips. None of the budgets mattered. It all just needed to line up from basically the day after Christmas through New Year's. And for the Kenya trip, I put all 10 locations on a wheel. I spun the wheel, and whatever it landed on, that's the trip I booked. As you guys know by now, it landed on Kenya. So I spent the $10,000 and I went to Kenya. Ironically enough, I did laugh when I spun the wheel because I spun it and Kenya was the most expensive trip at $10,000, and I almost pulled it because I was like, can you afford that? Due to auctions and stuff, that's a whole different story. I was able to afford it, so I left it on there and I said, what the hell, I'll figure it out. That's what ended up happening. As for the $1,500 for 3 months with a life coach, some of you might remember I had a guest speaker at one point, Andra, a good friend of mine. He is a life coach, and I did pay $1,500 for him to be my life coach for 3 months. It was specifically my first year at the college. From January to March, I figured, I had some extra money coming in from the new job, and I wanted to what is the word I'm looking for? I don't know why I keep saying sacrifice, is what's coming to my mind. I wanted to, God, I can't think of the word. It's going to drive me nuts. Invest. I wanted to invest in myself. So I figured we'll give it a shot. After 3 months, I decided it wasn't for me. Lots of his life coaching deals with depression, anxiety, and stuff like that. So it's stuff that I deal with, but I already kind of have a control over it. At least I know how to handle it to the point where I could not justify $500+ a month, because if I remember correctly, that was a discount that he gave me, and it was going to increase even more. And I just realized on the live stream, wow, that AC is dirty, even though I have not used it for a couple months. I need to clean that out. That's bad. That's disgusting. I kind of hate that it's on the live stream. But yeah, I paid $1,500 for him, and just wasn't my cup of tea. So we went to something different. I see Nancy's asking how the shoulder is. It's gotten better, but now I have frozen shoulder, so it's sore all the time. She devil needs to go to Coresite for the warmth. Yeah, 80 degrees. It'll warm you up. I'm probably gonna have to have mine worked on. I'm really nervous about it. I'm sorry to hear that, Nancy. Oh, this chat is it's frozen. There it goes. I hope both of you can recover and feel better much quicker. Shoulders, backs, necks, stuff like that. It's all really connected, so any kind of pain is not fun at all. So wishing you both speedy recovery on that. We got 20 minutes until travel around Susie. Susie, are you still in here by chance? It's easier to ask you instead of trying to find the chat since it keeps coming and going. I know she's got to get ready for her live. Round 5, travel around Susie is in here. Let me click on her. I'm going to add you, Susie, as a moderator, if that's okay. And I'm sure you're kind of in the background getting stuff ready for your live stream as well. At any point, can you just drop your link for tonight's live stream? I always just want to make sure people have that link and it's available. And if you're able to drop it, I should be able to pin it. Or if you're able to pin it as a moderator, I don't know. I just want to make sure that's quickly available for everybody. So round 5, Susie's live tonight. Gypsy and Vanilla Gorilla is on top of it. I cannot pin it, apparently. That's kind of dumb. But yeah, that's where'd it go? Thank you for sharing that link. Jeff beat me. Yes, he did. Thank you for sharing the link. I'm sorry I can't pin it, Susie. I don't know. This mobile stuff is weird. We are going to go to round 5 here. Round 5. Number 1. I've stood in awe at Machu Picchu despite a lifetime of no interest in history. 2. I've cried tears of joy while traveling. Or 3. I've hitchhiked across an entire state. Which one of those is the lie? Some of this stuff, too, I do have to point out, it's just general life stuff sometimes. Sometimes this stuff doesn't end up on YouTube, or some of it may have happened before YouTube. So just putting that out there as well. It's a game to get to know me and the channel. Nancy Drew is saying number 3. She Devil Adventures number 1. Lewis Clark is agreeing, and he's like, I gotta go with Nancy again. It's number 3. I'm backing her up. So 1, I've stood in awe at Machu Picchu despite a lifetime of no interest in history. 2, I've cried tears of joy while traveling. 3, I've hitchhiked across an entire state. Which one of those 3 statements do you think? It is blue on mine. I can't click on it, but I can see the link is blue on mine, so I think you should be good. Yeah, She Devil Adventures says it works for me. Linda Barker is saying number 1 is the lie. Travel Around Susie is agreeing with Lewis and Nancy, saying number 3 is the lie in this case. The Gypsy Official is coming in agreeing number 3. And the Gypsy and Vanilla Gorilla, number 1. So no one is saying number 2 on this one. Everyone thinks 1 or 3 is the lie. So I will tell you right now, number 2 is a truth. I've cried tears of joy while traveling. There has been a couple moments that I'm very thankful for where it just hits you. The most recent one I could think about, being an international trip. I mean, here in the camper even, when I was cleaning the camper, getting it all ready to prep to move in and all of that, I got teary-eyed because it was like, I made it. I did this. Same thing when I was live streaming my New Year's Eve in Germany a couple years ago. I got teary-eyed while live streaming because here was all my friends and family watching me live on the opposite side of the country, and I'm getting a little teary-eyed talking about it. And I was in Germany, of all places. I just got out of Venice, Italy. Had some true wine, true Italian food. A bucket list item for me that I absolutely wanted to do my entire life and never thought I would get to. And that somehow led to me being in the beer capital of the planet, Munich, Germany, watching all of these fireworks. I mean, I spun around for half an hour, and the sky was just completely lit up. Every inch of the sky lit up with fireworks. I got a little emotional. Salsa dancing down in Peru. Everyone was salsa dancing. I got some video, I got some photos, and then I stepped out on a balcony into the night. And it's quiet, you could hear the music and everyone dancing behind you. And I leaned on the balcony and I looked over a plaza, a park, and it just hit me. How lucky am I to be here and be experiencing this, despite on that trip suffering from stomach ulcers and all this crazy stuff, I got emotional. So, 1 or 3, which is the lie? That's the question, because everybody's been commenting 1 or 3. The question is, or the lie is, number 3. I've hitchhiked across an entire state. I've always loved the idea of hitchhiking, but for legal reasons, it's much more difficult to pull off nowadays. And because of serial killers and stuff, I think people are less inclined to pick people up as well. So I've never even tried it. It's secretly a bucket list item of mine, but that's, again, one of those items that I don't know if I'll ever do. But you never know. You might be surprised. As for standing in awe at Machu Picchu, that is where my Peru trip brought me. And it is true that my entire life, pretty much, I have had no interest in history. Matter of fact, Machu Picchu specifically and Peru was never a place I wanted to travel specifically. It was literally the cheapest trip that I could book during the time frame that I could get off work. That is the only reason I went and did it, and it just so happened to be the greatest trip of my life. So how cool is that? History, like, that was one of the things my advisor in college can tell you very well. I told her, I absolutely will not take any history classes, so don't give it to me. And when it came down, like, oh, you need an elective, you need a humanities class, these are what's available. At first, she used to mention history type classes, and I would go, absolutely not. I just won't do anything this semester. I won't, like, I was dead set. I hate history, absolutely despise it. And she learned very quickly not to even offer history type classes, because I absolutely would not take them. To me, I like learning about the history while I'm there in said places. I see Susie is leaving, so thank you for tuning in, Susie, and we will see you in 13 minutes. So let's move on to round 6 here to keep it moving before we run out of time. Round 6. Let's see. Number one. It's weird to say 1 with a thumb. I've changed plans entirely due to incoming hurricanes. 2. I've crossed the U.S.-Mexico border. And 3. Within a single day, I ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner in 3 different countries. Which one of those is the lie? I've changed plans entirely due to incoming hurricanes. I've crossed the U.S.-Mexico border. And within a single day, I ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner in 3 different countries. Nancy Drew Lewis Clark saying number 2 is the lie. Gypsy and Vanilla Gorilla, as well as She Devil Adventures, is saying number 1 is the lie. Linda's coming in and saying number 2 is the lie. She is agreeing with Nancy and Lewis Clark on that. I think that is everybody. So, drumroll please. The lie in this situation is number 2. I have not yet crossed the U.S.-Mexico border. I have talked to my uncle. We're not going to do it this season, but during some winter, we are going to go down to Yuma, and I am going to take a little day trip in. You can park your vehicle on the U.S. side and walk across to Mexico. I plan on doing that, just not this season. We're heading towards Las Vegas. We're heading in the opposite direction. It just doesn't work out this season. But Next year, maybe if we make our way down to Yuma, we're definitely going to give that a day trip. I've changed plans entirely due to a hurricane. That one is the truth. In my first book, Discomfort, I talk about how I drove down to Pensacola, Florida to meet with Rocky's previous owner. We were good friends at the time. Well, our friendship was kind of going out the window, but you get the point. So he was in the Navy, he got out of boot camp, and he was in school in Pensacola. I drove down there and delivered all of his stuff so he wouldn't have to pay a bunch of money for it. He wouldn't have to wait forever because he was dating a girlfriend at the time and they were struggling to do long distance. So I knew having his PC, he'd be able to play some games with her, they'd be able to do some movie nights, stuff like that. And otherwise, he'd have to pay like a ridiculous amount and he'd have to wait weeks for his stuff to be shipped. So I drove down there, thought I'd visit New Orleans, stuff like that. Well, as I got to Pensacola, we're in August, hurricane season. I didn't think about this. So I'm living, well, not living, because again, it's just a day trip. I was only down there like a week or two. I was in my caravan, and there was a tropical storm that was about to hit Pensacola. Now, this is where that one, as is right now, it could be a lie because it's a tropical storm. It was building into a hurricane, but it wasn't. I don't think it had actually hit a hurricane, or it was a hurricane that was a very small category, something along those lines, because it went from, oh, we might have to like evacuate the city and evacuate the military base that he was on for school, to I fled to Alabama. We get to Alabama, it hits, okay, it's not as strong anymore. The reason this is true, even if you count that as a tropical storm, is because that same time frame, I went to New Orleans. I only got one afternoon there because I had to go back and I had to take Rocky in and rescue him. So I got one afternoon in New Orleans, and the very next day I left New Orleans to go back to Michigan. Otherwise, I would have been there for about 4 or 5 days. But literally the day I left, they got hit with that hurricane. You guys might remember it a couple years ago. New Orleans got hit with a hurricane, and they were saying it was worse than Katrina even. That, I was literally there. Like, I got back to Michigan, I was watching the news, and I was watching, or just looking at photos even, and I could not believe that 24 hours earlier, I was walking through that city in places that were absolutely destroyed by that hurricane. So that one is a true. And as for the other one, within a single day, I ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner in 3 different countries. I did that in Europe. I ate breakfast in Germany, lunch in Liechtenstein, and dinner in Switzerland. All 3 meals were in a different country, all in one day. So we got 7 minutes. That gives us round for round 7, quick fire. Then we'll wrap it up and travel around. Susie will be live with trivia. So, number 7. I've skydived despite a lifelong fear of heights. I've been detained in an international airport. Or, I once drove 15 to 16 hours in a single day. Which one of those is a lie? I've skydived despite a lifelong fear of heights. I've been detained in an international airport. I once drove 15 to 16 hours in a single day. Ooh, look at this. We get numbers across the board. 3, 1, 2, 2. Airport is the fib. I love this. This is a perfect one to end with. Linda coming in, she's saying number 1. Everybody has different ideas. Gypsy Official saying number 2. So right now, everyone's thinking number 2 is the most common answer here. I'm going to give a couple seconds because I don't know if there's anyone else that wants to type in. I've skydived despite a lifelong fear of heights. I've been detained in an international airport. And I once drove 15 to 16 hours in a single day. I think I guessed it correctly again. Oh my god. Well, we didn't reveal it yet, Lewis. The correct answer, to wrap up this and move our way over, will Ray travel around Susie for trivia? The lie in this scenario is number 2. I have, in fact, skydived here in Arizona despite a lifelong fear of heights. And yes, I would do it again. And yes, I still have a fear of heights. I am even surprised by that. Because later on, a couple years later, I jumped off the Stratosphere skyscraper in Las Vegas. And what's the term here? It is the largest decelerator on the planet. You jump off and it's like bungee jumping, but instead of jumping back up or getting pulled back up, you just decelerate right before you hit the ground. So I did that, and when I was on the cliff about to jump, you could see the fear in my eyes in that video, questioning my life choices. But afterwards, you also get to go to the top floor outside and look at the Las Vegas Strip. That's part of your pass for doing that. And I went out there, and even the floor where you're sealed in, I was like holding the phone way far out by the window because I hated looking out the window. I was so afraid of heights at the time. And I once drove 15 to 16 hours in a single day. That's also true. When I was going down to Florida, I was so excited to be getting down to the ocean, and I knew that Pensacola was like 20 hours or something like that. So I just wanted to knock it out as much as possible and get down there. And also keep in mind, I was traveling with all of my buddy's stuff. It was, so that's taking up room in the caravan that already is pretty tight. So I just wanted to get down there, and I was feeling good. Back then I was much younger. That was 5-6 years ago. I still had back pain, but not as bad as now. So yeah, that's that. Being detained in an international airport, that one's a complete lie. I've had some issues in an international airport where I've been pretty scared and had to figure things out on my own. But thankfully, I've never been detained in an airport, let alone an international one. I will say, though, and I joke to my buddy who's a TSA agent, because they always randomly check you and whatnot, and I swear to God, every time I go through an airport, I get pulled off to the side. And every single time, do you want a private room for this screening? And I remember being on a school trip, all my classmates and stuff, do you want a private room for this screening? And I just said, get it over with. Just do it. So that's that. I think Susie just went live. If someone can you please drop that link for everybody? I do see a quick question. Where did you get the haircut? I did it myself. I just shaved it all and cut it all. I've been doing that for probably 10 years, give or take now. Yeah, so I give my own haircuts. I got a full kit. Thinking I may need one, so I figured I'd ask. yeah, I just got some clippers. They're relatively cheap, and I always shave pretty much. I almost never, like, if you remember how long it was to me, I already wanted to shave it 2 weeks ago. That was way too long. It was driving me nuts. And I'm hoping next week to go to some employment stuff and hopefully get a seasonal job. So need to be looking good. I see everyone had fun though. So thank you guys for doing this. I appreciate it for being here, having fun. And yes, let's go check out Travel Around Susie. She should be live now. I need to get her. Let me see if I can do it on my phone quick for you guys. Get that link in there. Yeah, she's live. Let's see. Share. Copy link. Mine channel. Oh, the chat's not up to date. Yeah, it is. Okay. I'm trying. Let's see. 2 truths and a lie. Why is it saying that I live streamed 5 days ago? Okay, I can't do it. So if you guys aren't already over there, you got to look up Travel Around Susie and let her know it's a Kobe raid. Thank you guys for being here. I'll see you all on the next adventure.